think about this not just as a physical meeting room and these devices. It's kind of like a mindset change for the industry. We talked about AV and IT convergence. This is a whole shift in focus. I'm starting to think more about value-based services and less about hardware.
Hi, and welcome back to the Teams Insider podcast. This week we have a familiar face in the Microsoft Teams community, particularly in the Rooms community, Mehryn Corrigan at Microsoft, who looks after worldwide channel sales of Teams Rooms. We talk a little bit about her journey before and into Microsoft, the Teams Rooms journey, some of the numbers around that, the partner opportunity, what we're hearing from customers and partners. And Mehryn was also at Infocom at the time of recording, so a little bit of perspective from her on the Infocom conversations and looking into the next FY Microsoft year and what might be coming. Many thanks to Mehryn for jumping on the podcast. Really appreciate it. And many thanks to Jabra, who are the sponsor of this podcast. Really appreciate their support of everything that we're doing. On with the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. This has been a long one coming, tracking down my diary and Mehryn's diary. Considering we talk every couple of weeks at least, it's funny how long it's taken. Mehryn, thanks so much for being on the pod. For those who don't know you, can you just introduce yourself a little bit in your role?
Of course, yeah. My name is Mehryn Corrigan. Been at Microsoft for about 5 years now, and I'm responsible for worldwide channel sales of Teams Rooms, particularly on the partner side. So if you are a distributor or a reseller, or integrator, or any type of partner that works with Microsoft, I would sort of be the lead when it comes to that. So very excited to be here. And I know, Tom, we're on, I think, on a group chat, several group chats where I feel like I'm always in constant contact with you. So pleasure to be on here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on. I'm excited to get a little bit of your background, I guess, to start. I know it from kind of looking up, but I know you didn't start in the IT space. You've done distribution. Can take us through that journey to Microsoft?
Yeah, honestly, going through college, like it's funny where you like land. I probably would not have seen myself at Microsoft. Like I was actually in sports marketing in college, interned at Nike and kind of saw myself headed in that direction. Got into like retail and merchandising, but what I kind of felt my passion was really analytics. And so I went from retail, I ended up getting a job at Tech Data. And so from there, that really started my journey in the world of technology. So yeah, there I had, merchandising jobs. I mainly was in the AV space. I did things with like ViewSonic and Sony and HP, but I did, sales, marketing, actually did supply chain logistics as well. So kind of did a little bit of a tour of duty.
Quite varied.
Yeah, all over the place. I kind of liked knowing the whole circle of how things get done, but probably my coolest role there was outsourced supply chain, honestly. You would think like I'm in sales today and I love it, but that was really interesting to sort of figure out how things get from point A to point B and how to do it more efficiently. So that was pretty fun. And then, I ended up at Sharp Electronics doing the hardware thing after that. And then, I landed at Microsoft about 5 years ago in the middle of the pandemic when we were building out our Teams Rooms team. So it's been a fun ride at Microsoft so far. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been a tear in the Rooms space, hasn't it? I guess that's how you kind of end up in the Rooms part of the Microsoft world, is that kind of AV and partners, and then into the Rooms story. And you were relatively early, 5 years back, on the Rooms journey.
Yeah, so I actually at Sharp Electronics, I was managing alliances and had a product called, I don't know if you remember the Windows collaboration display, but that's what opened my eyes up to the world of Microsoft. And at that time, that's when like platform was starting to drive some decisions of having, rooms that were native. And I really sort of fell in love with that. And I felt like the AV space, or the world that I was coming from, didn't know a whole lot about software and IT. And I was really excited about trying to kind of open the door up to that ecosystem into the IT world. So I've learned a lot along the way, and hopefully I've carried a lot of our community with me along that journey.
Definitely. I think things like the SMTR weekly show and things, there's a wealth of knowledge, and seeing that stuff develop has been great. Give me your perspective on that AV and IT coming together, because that has been the theme of the last few years, is this change in how people do rooms in a very IT kind of centric way rather than a classic AV way.
Yeah.
And AV partners have had to adapt as well.
Yeah, I remember our first, us trying to set up a video of hey, this is how you set up a Teams room. And this was at the beginning of, our journey. And any standard AV person that just goes to open the box, then realizes, oh, I've got to set up an account and I've got to assign a license to it. And they're just not familiar with that step of the process. And so getting that provisioning concept through, I think that was sort of new. And I think that's been probably a theme to our overall story for the last 5 years. That has not gone away. It's still a continued education. Yeah. You would think okay, AV and IT met a long time ago.
And it feels like it's been in both directions. I think something I've come from the IT rather than the AV, so I feel like I've been skinning up on the AV world, and I'm still I would call myself a novice in that world, but it feels like there's been a lot of good pushback in the AV partnership community to, if you really want to scale rooms into as it is now, into the well over 1 million plus, you Microsoft and partners are going to have to do this, and this. And the same thing back in the AV community. It's well, actually, we, from the PCIT world, we're used to the millions and millions and millions of units, so actually we're thinking this and this.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting evolution, I would say. I'm really proud of the evolution of some of our traditional, what you would have said, 5 years ago were traditional AV partners, our true, IT stack. They've even added security, phone, places.
Yeah.
They're not just in the room space anymore. They've really dove into Microsoft full bore. So that's been a really cool thing. But it's also been cool to see sort of your traditional MSPs or IT bars dip into the Teams room space where they might have not touched it a couple of years ago. I think it's becoming maybe a little less intimidating. I think we've put a lot of work and effort into it, and I think our product team at Microsoft has done a great job in trying to simplify and streamline and sort of cut out, and even our manufacturers as well, make that out-of-box experience not so mysterious, I would say. Yeah.
It definitely feels like in the last few years it's got easier and quicker to deploy these things and manage it, and things like the Pro Portal and all the work that's gone to the management side as well. Yeah,
very exciting. I think the Pro Portal, I would say, hopefully is a big theme going into next year. It's maybe not as dazzling and exciting as all the hardware stuff that we love to get excited about, but manageability, streamline. Honestly, the big thing that everybody wants is they just want it to work and be reliable.
It comes up all the time. I think people in the industry are always excited about the next thing, the next piece of hardware, and there's definitely a place for that. And AI, obviously, we'll talk about later on your infocom as we record. So there's some interesting conversations there. But actually, simplicity and scaling out the deployments, manageability, reliability, those come time and time again from my enterprise customers, and they would always trade anything flash for actually we've got hundreds of these to manage, just make it scalable, manageable, not need a team of 20 to manage these things, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think with AI, and I can speak about it this week, there are things like our AI assistant getting added to the Pro Portal that you don't have to be diving into the depths to go find things. You can just through natural language ask it, hey, what are my what are my rooms that are dual displays? What are my rooms that do an upgrade on this firmware? It's becoming a lot less friction.
That natural language we're used to in Copilot of just asking questions. You could think of that over the management surface. It's really interesting.
Yeah. I was thinking about Ilya. I think he always references this of, how many users actually go in when you're in the Teams environment to settings, and it's less than 1%, where it's hard to design a UI and all these great features and help people understand where they are and how to access them, where I'm hoping that AI pulls all those things to the forefront for people and makes it a little bit easier. So or even have some context of when things might make sense for you. Certainly some of the you see in the partner systems, the AI direction, multi-camera stuff is really interesting. It's awesome. Yeah, so lots of new exciting announcements this week. I feel like you and I are always on the pulse of what's happening. There's a few things around Teams Phone with AI, hey, when I transfer a call, if it's a customer service call, all my call history will go with it. I think that's really exciting. That one's been talked about for a little bit. And I think The biggest one that we've been anticipating for a really long time is speaker recognition. We had it on Windows for a long time, and then it just became available on Android. So I'm excited to see all of our Android OEMs here at InfoComm sort of showcasing what speaker attribution can do and the value that it can bring to your meeting room.
Yeah, and I think that's really going to help the general adoption of this feature, because I have lots of customers that they're mixed estate between Windows and Android, but they want the core features to be there. So actually they've been holding on until we can do it everywhere and train our users, we won't do it. So I think that will see a big push, and it makes so much sense for those investing in the Copilot journey to have those proper named transcripts. Like I think in a few years that'll just be total table stakes for a meeting. Like obviously it knows who I am, obviously it takes the minutes.
Yeah, and if you've been using Copilot like you and I have for even 6 months, like it becomes a crutch, and when you don't have it in a meeting, you're like, oh my, like I can't believe I don't have the transcript.
I hate not having or being able to ask a question mid-meeting. I'm like, oh, what was just said?
Yeah, exactly. So I think, like you said, it definitely will be table stakes, and there's so much more exciting things coming. Like it's hard to even imagine sometimes, like all these cool co-pilots that are coming out. Like I think that there's a lot of new and innovative ideas coming out of our product team about how we might be able to evolve meeting rooms in the future. So it should be fun. I think we're just at the very beginning of this exciting rooms journey. 5 years is like a long time in Microsoft world, but at least when it comes to workplace, like we're very, very early. Yeah,
I think the AI stuff as well, it's interesting. I don't know if anybody's going to take credit for envisioning this or not, but like the fact that they're software-based devices means this AI journey has been an upgrade to a lot of things people already invested in. So it's not a new hardware scenario in nearly all cases. It's here's extra features and extra value you get, and things like Facilitator come in for a pure in-person meeting and using the room system as a note taker. And I can definitely see, I think Ilya's alluded to this in some of the keynotes, like Facilitator getting much more proactive in the meetings. Like you've got 5 minutes left, and be sure that everybody had the chance to speak. Like the room over here don't seem very engaged, those kind of things. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, they kind of throw out this example a couple times, and I'll just use it, where like apparently they have an issue at headquarters where every time the cleaning crew comes in, they move the chairs around and whatever else, and they always put the chair in front of where the camera is, and then they go to start a meeting and there's a chair in front of the whatever, where they talk about like, wouldn't it be nice if the room told you like, hey, for a better experience you might want to move the chair so we can see everybody. Like things like that seem so obvious. It's just really eliminating the friction. So there's the mind can kind of go a lot of different directions with that, of ways it could help your space. Or like, hey, I see there's 20 people in this room and you guys are getting a little tight. Can I recommend a 40-person room down the hallway? It's open available here for the rest of the day, blah, blah, blah. So cool things like that when you integrate places and all that fun stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. So what does your day-to-day look like, Mehryn? You do an awesome job of being at loads of the events. I see you around all the partners. What does your day-to-day look like for your role?
So I have a worldwide responsibility for partners. And so, my responsibility is to set strategy. And so I do tend to be deep into the numbers. I wish we could give you more numbers than, hey, we hit 1 million meeting rooms. We're usually a little bit private.
I know you've got them there, and you could. It might not be good for your career, but
yeah, but we're usually a little private about that. But going into industry opportunity of like, hey, let's look at all the different markets. Like, hey, there's 80 million rooms out there in the world right now, and what are they doing? What do they look like? What's innovating? So kind of having a pulse on the market. And so a lot of that, it's not just coming from analysts, but it's also coming from our partners firsthand, and kind of getting their feedback. So it's a lot of partner calls. It's our team sort of rolling out like what's happening in the field and funneling up feedback. So I'm pretty proud of the entanglement that we've created with our engineering team. So a lot of that feedback does sort of go up in we do work with our partners to meet. Like this week, we're going to be doing a lot of our partners are bringing their customers in to meet with our engineering team and provide feedback. So I do love that we've got a nice closed loop system. and we're constantly focusing on providing value to our customers. So I think that's cool. I think the secondary thing is really around education. We do a lot around training and enablement, which you've seen. Like, that's what our Friday podcasts are with Jimmy and I. And that was...
Yeah, let's dive into the Friday podcast, because I think that's amazing. Like, it's... I feel like Microsoft... I've been working with Microsoft at partners doing things for way too long, like well over 15 years probably now. The way Microsoft as an org communicates has changed massively. In the SaaS world, you said there's lots of direct customer engagement, that piece, the communication and the training, everything moving so fast. I feel like what you and Jimmy have done, and the others, the rest of the team, selling Microsoft Teams rooms with the show, like, it's very fast paced, very organic, very here's what it is. It's not the traditional way Microsoft kind of communicated change. How did that come about?
Yeah, well, I gotta tell you, like, it was a leap that Jimmy and I did, and it's probably more on the, I would say, unsanctioned Microsoft side. Like, we always put a slide at the beginning and the end, like, we're doing this on our personal time and our personal efforts. But I think because it, like you said, it's so fast paced, like literally every week, we struggle to fit in like all the news of the week into 10 minutes or less. But like that consumable format of like, here's your links for the week, and thank you very much for helping us to kind of share that out each week. Like, that's really what people want. Like, tell me what I missed. Tell me the big things that I should probably dive into a little bit further. And it's very consumable. So I think it's helpful.
I think consumable is a key word. I know a lot of people, like, we see a lot of people in the chat that join live, but then more people get the email or watch the YouTube afterwards on their own pace when it's right for them, and they know 10 minutes, give or take, depending how busy it is, like, they're going to get all the key highlights, and they've got all the links to click on demand. If they want the links in the deck, they've got them. Well,
and that's the key, is like, it is all like publicly facing information, so it's not like we're diving in and getting secrets and then needing to go to like Microsoft Legal to get approval to release this. Like, it's all things that are publicly available, and we kind of know all the secret spots, like even just the roadmap and things that are happening and coming through in tech, like that can be a lot to keep up with. So
you say public, it's interesting, isn't it? It is public, but there's so much, that job of curation and explaining, it's I think it's so powerful. Not many people have time to comb the roadmap, keep up to date, understand the context. So just a quick snip. And I think for partners in particular as well, we all know they're super busy. So actually, and they might have multiple vendors, multiple solutions. So that 10 minutes of here's everything I need to know in the Microsoft space with the OEMs, and now more with Places and Premium and everything else. It's really good.
It's awesome. And it makes, I think Jimmy is obviously like super fun. I feel like he must have been, obviously he's got like his WWE background, but he's got such that radio voice, and everybody loves his personality. Like, so he
brings some energy, doesn't he?
Brings the energy every week, and it's always like a guaranteed good time. So, and you step in for me every now and then too. So we've got a fun like group of contributors. And if you're listening to this podcast, just know that you can submit any of us, like, hey, could you get this on the podcast this week? And we will throw it in there. So it's a community contributed. We take anything that people send us throughout the week and we add it into just an ongoing organic deck. And we're adding up to the minute before. So we want your contribution if you're listening.
That's the thing with a weekly show. It often comes down to the wire, doesn't it? Of who's available in which place and what time, and is the deck together? And you say it's a real kind of an effort to be consistent with that kind of stuff, especially when you have schedules as busy as you and Jimmy do, and we all do. That I think that's but you see it in the feedback. I think it's doing such a. I'd love to see more comms out of Microsoft be that kind of more agile, friendly, and like imperfect in the sense of we don't all know everything that's going on. We're just trying to share and add value.
And we always add our fun AI music at the beginning and the end. So it's a little bit of a creative outlet too, I would say. We have a fun time bothering Jimmy with all of our AI music. So it's good times.
Awesome. Well, I don't want to keep you too long, so I know you've got to get back to InfoComm. But just a quick perspective, as we record, we're coming into new FY, and what are you most kind of excited or interested in for the next year?
I honestly think there's a lot of opportunity for the partner community. You've watched the rooms landscape evolve. Like I said, there's like 80 million meeting rooms across the globe. And if you take our public info of only having 1 million Teams rooms, there's boundless opportunity. But I think the addition of Microsoft Places in the last year, the addition of Copilot in the last year and a half, the services opportunity for partners to help think about this not just as a physical meeting room and these devices. Like, I really think, and it's kind of like a mindset change for the industry. We talked about like AV and IT convergence. This is a whole shift in focus and starting to think more about value-based services and less about hardware, I would say, which I love hardware. Like, it's my
blood. We all like the toys, but it's the business conversation you want to be having. It's like, here's how I can impact your organization, not here's how I can bring you the next super zoom camera. Like,
think about yourself as like the meeting czar or the workplace evolution technologist, and think about your workplace evolution plan. Like, what's that going to look like in the next 5 years? And I think it takes like a commitment to really understanding this AI journey.
I love that as a recommendation to partners, actually, to kind of claim your authority in that space, because you do have a lot of knowledge about how it all hangs together, how meetings happen. We have the analytics. You know what's possible in the room. You're absolutely in the right position to be having that conversation and skill up a bit more on Places Copilot, the wider conversation. And then you're not going to customers saying, can I have a conversation about how many rooms have you got and where do you want them? It's like, what's your AI strategy when it comes to physical locations? That's a completely different conversation opener.
It is. And I think we've chatted about this previously. Like, if I'm a customer, like, I don't want to be doing business with 10 different partners when it comes to Teams Phone. I'm going to do this with this partner, and with Teams Rooms, I'm going to meet with this partner. Like, if you can be a one-stop shop partner that can really talk to the full stack, you provide so much greater value to the customer. And we've seen a lot more of our deals be multi-stack. Like, they're
we saw it was notable at the boot camp as well. There was like a hands up scenario, because the boot camp was day one rooms, day two phone, and it was a lot of people put their hands up for, yes, we're doing some Places stuff, we're doing some AI stuff, we're doing phone and rooms feel like the most natural conversation as well. It's like you're already talking Teams, you're already talking how people communicate.
Yeah, it's all about that. Like, hey, they made the decision to be on Teams as a platform. Like, okay, now where do you go? Like, what's the journey from there? And you can go anywhere. But yeah, there's lots of opportunities. So the partner community is an exciting place to be, and we have a good time. I love our ecosystem. I think we really have more fun than anybody else at Microsoft.
Yeah, you've got to, haven't you?
Yeah, like, we really do have such a passion for the business. And I think people that have been in this space for a long time, like, truly do love it. And I think you see that in our team too. Like, it's
one of the things I love about Teams, actually, because it's one of the workloads at Microsoft that absolutely depends on ecosystem. Like, it wouldn't work without the partners, the device vendors, contact center, recording, like physical devices. So, and it's always going to be that way by the virtue of how Teams work. So I think it's a nice community spirit, and appreciate everything you do to kind of be super open and communicate with the community. It's really, really appreciated.
Of course, and likewise for you. I mean, I think your fireside chats are amazing. It's like the ongoing chat that I love to kind of see and check in with what people are talking about. So you do such a good job building up the community as well, and I really appreciate what you do and having me on. This is awesome. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Mehryn. Enjoy the rest of InfoComm as we record, and we'll catch up when you're back.
Sounds good. Thank you, Tom.